Swings and bounces it toward third, just past Jan and down the left field line. Johnson comes in to score. Vargas is getting waved. He's coming home. Here's the throw. Vargas scores, and Joey Bart wins it on a walk-off double. Vargas scored all the way from first. And Joey Bart
that hit sent the River City Flying Squirrels into the playoffs back in 2019. What's up, everybody? We're the team from River City, here to talk to you a little bit about how things are going to come back from COVID-19 and the coronavirus, and how things are hopefully going to get back to the path to normalcy starting with the 2021 season. If you don't know who we are, we're based in River City, Missouri. It's about halfway between Memphis and St. Louis, which is very convenient because St. Louis is our major league affiliate and Memphis is our AAA affiliate. So being right there between both of these guys really allows our fans to follow the progression of people through the farm system up until the majors. Our team began play in 1946, and we've won the Eastern League Championship 3 times since then, the last time back in 2018. So as everybody knows, minor league baseball canceled its 2020 season, and the COO of the Flying Squirrels, Todd Parnell, made this announcement back on June 30th.
Hey everybody, Parney from the Flying Squirrels here with my best friend Nutsy. If you're watching this video, then that means that our worst case scenario has happened and been announced, that the 2020 season has been canceled due to COVID-19.
Now, as you could imagine, with no fans, no games, and no season, revenue took a major hit due to that. And we'll get into that in just a moment as we break down some of the numbers. Also, we don't know if fans will be allowed back into the park for the 2021 season as of yet. So we are flying under the impression that they will not be allowed back into the park, and have a contingency plan in case we get to partial fan occupancy. Probably not going to see full occupancy as the way things are going this this winter, but if we can get partial fans in there, it will be even better. But our projections and everything are based on no fans entering in this season. So let's talk a little bit about the solutions that we've come up with. We want to have a virtual fan experience. You see on your screen there a picture of the NBA bubble. They had their virtual fans. WWE has their fandom going on. Same kind of thing, but we want to bring more than just a face on a board to our solution. So we've partnered with DoorDash to deliver stadium fare to the people within a 1 mile radius of the stadium, so that they can get the popcorn, the hot dogs, the soda, and make it feel like they are actually in the stadium as much as possible for our games. And then minor league baseball is definitely known for its crazy, kind of wacky sometimes in-home promotions. So we're going to make sure that the people at home don't miss out on these promotions at the same time. We want the full experience for our fans, and we feel like we've come up with a great way to do that. So let's talk about the numbers a little bit. The average team revenue by league, the MLB, the average team in the MLB has $346 million of revenue. In all of baseball, that's 92% of all revenue. AA, where we are, $8.5 million for the average team, only 2% slice of the pie, but it works for us. We're a little bit above that. As we take a look at the top 5 Eastern League team revenues for 2019. This is the last year before COVID, coming off our championship season. Reading led the league in revenue with about $10.1 million in revenue. Hartford in second place, and then us, River City, here at about $9.85 million for 2019. Then the Akron River Ducks in fourth place, and Bowie Bay Sox in fifth. So taking a look at our total revenue for 2016 to a projected 2021 season, you can see that we kind of crescendoed there in 2018, winning the championship, came down a little bit as we lost in the semifinals in 2019. And then last year, with no fans in the stadium and without any games and that kind of revenue generated by people coming into the stadium, we were down to just $1.2 million in, in, in revenue from sponsorships and merchandise sales. But with our new plan, we figure that we'll be about $4.5 million estimate for 2021, and that's not at where we usually are, but it's, much better than 1.2 million. And if we are able to sell any tickets at all, that money will hopefully go up. So breaking down the income for the past 5 years based on revenue streams, you can see last year we were able to salvage some of our corporate sponsorships, not as quite as many as we had before, but some. And we appreciate those sponsors that were sticking with us through the tough times. And we did sell some merchandise sales. A lot of merchandise sales happen through the stadium itself. So obviously not having anybody at the stadium for those games is going to bring that number down. Also, obviously no concessions and no tickets because there were no games. But those numbers we feel like will increase with the tickets for our virtual fan experience and concessions with our DoorDash partnership.
So when looking at an organizational SWOT analysis for minor league teams, a lot of the strengths that minor league teams had before COVID-19 are strengths that they will have after COVID-19 as well. Generally, there's less competition within minor league sports compared to other sports leagues. In a lot of ways, minor league teams are in one of two areas. Either minor league teams are in smaller cities or smaller towns to where they are kind of the only show in town, or they're in bigger, larger cities to where they're kind of in their own little niche market to where they're looked at as the smaller club, the less expensive, more family option. So a lot of ways, minor league teams are generally in their own element. Another strength would be the unique promotions that minor league teams are kind of famous for. Those unique promotions will be definitely something that minor league teams look to utilize as they are able to have fans come back to the ballpark. Another strength would be the need for minor league teams to be there because of player development reasons for major league teams. Minor league baseball has for a long time been the development way for players from when they get drafted to when they may reach the majors. It's been extremely important. It's been a part of the fabric of baseball for a long, long time, and that's something that's very hard to get away from if you're a major league team. And then the last strength would be minor league teams are used to running close on budgets. So a season like last season isn't something necessarily out of the ordinary. It's definitely not what they wanted, but it is a strength to know that when we're talking about budgets and stuff like that, minor league teams are generally used to running close on a budget. Some of the weaknesses that minor league teams have is that compared to MLB teams, there is no massive TV contract that they could fall back on when they don't have revenue coming in through tickets and other forms of sponsorships. Another weakness would be is that minor league teams lost all forms of sponsorship revenue, like I just kind of said in that last one. One issue that has started to come up is that before COVID even hit, in the winter of 2019, teams had already started talking about cutting close to 40 teams from the minor leagues in a way for major league teams to save money that way. And another weakness is that minor league teams have to pay all their current employees, all their full-time current employees, even though they don't have really any revenue coming in. So right now they're already losing a lot of money just paying the people who are in sales, who are in all forms of the business department. So they're definitely losing money that way too. When looking at the opportunities part of the SWOT analysis, there are some kind of unique ways that minor league teams can look to bring in more revenue, maybe not just through baseball. The first one being is the ability to use stadiums for more than just baseball. I think one thing that stood out to me during this whole COVID process is that the Indianapolis Indians used Victory Field as kind of a mini golf course, I guess you could describe it. And all minor league teams have the ability to open up their eyes, their ideas to seeing what more they can use their baseball stadiums for. And that's something that they can use not only for when kind of COVID phases out. They could always use the baseball stadiums for more than what they do right now. And those are just good ways to bring in more revenue. Another opportunity is that the contraction of 40 teams, like I spoke about in the weaknesses part, where they were looking to contract maybe 40 teams, that could help with the funding of the other MLB teams that continue to stay a part of affiliated minor league baseball. And then there also is an opportunity to renovate and upgrade stadiums for the future for when teams are able to come back. And then looking at the threats, the postponement of the 2021 season due to COVID-19, we don't necessarily know when, they're going to be able to get fans in the stands and things like that. So there always is that threat that maybe 1 year could become 2 years, maybe a year and a half. They don't really know. So that it's always a threat that they don't know when the revenue will start coming back in again. If the MLB looks to go another direction with player development, that could be a big issue. Last season, because of the MLB or minor league teams not having a season, they still have to work on developing their young players and their minor leaguers. So they look to having just these development sites to where teams just played interleague squads. And that could be something that MLB teams look to utilize going forward, because it is a much cheaper direction than the current minor league direction. And then lack of advertising for money from the big sponsors. You don't know if sponsors are willing to dish out the big money, the big forms of money that they were before, because they've also had to deal with COVID as well. So there may not be the advertising money there that has been there in the past for teams. And then looking at the market analysis of minor league baseball as a whole, there's a collection of minor league teams that are currently not affiliated with the major league team, and those teams that are kind of most at risk of going away because they don't really have a source of revenue or something to fall back on if the season doesn't start up again. For most teams, the main forms of revenue come from ticket sales, corporate sales, and in-game revenue. Most minor league baseball teams grossed as a whole $864 million across its 160 clubs last year, but 89% of that revenue went to cover operating expenses. So they're only getting to keep 11% of the revenue that they make, which isn't a lot. And then depending on the location of the team, there's different forms of competition for the consumer. Like I said, in the strengths part of the SWOT analysis, depending on where you're at, the competition's different. There's the competition that's always there in 2020. Depending on, there's a lot of ways for people to spend their time, whether it be, just stay at home watching the game, watching Netflix, maybe, if things were different, going to the movies. There's a lot of ways that people can spend their leisure time. So that's always there. But for a lot of minor league teams, they're not in real competition with other sports leagues, like maybe the MLB would be with the NBA and things like that. And then minor league teams tend to draw more casual, more local fans compared to other professional sports leagues.
Okay, so I'm going to be touching base on the competitive analysis about our team. So the minor league baseball's relationship to the major leaguers makes its structure both complex and unique. Every minor league team is affiliated with a major league baseball team, which is also responsible for hiring its players and coaches. There are also 7 different levels of domestic minor league teams, ascending from short season rookie to AAA. These classifications serve as preparation and extended tryouts for players to become major leaguers. But all of this is not even touch base on the fact that there are leagues outside of the United States, such as AAA Mexican League, as well as unaffiliated independent professional baseball leagues. And then just branching out from baseball in general, competitors also stem from other leagues such as the NFL or the NBA. So 75% of millennials are not willing to drive more than 60 minutes to attend an event, which is kind of crazy, but I think we're just so used to convenience nowadays. Therefore, we have identified the following as our major competitors regarding our target market and who they may choose over attending or viewing our team's games. The St. Louis Cardinals are an MLB team, Memphis Redbirds, which are a AAA affiliate, and then the Kansas City Chiefs, which are an NFL team, are the three main sports competitors that our target market may choose to attend over coming to a Flying Squirrels game. All three of these competitors offer affordability, short commute distances, and a full fan experience. The following are areas in which our competitors engage with our fans successfully, which affects our own course of action on how our solution should engage with our fans. The St. Louis Cardinals host special events that show their appreciation for their fans by offering things like giveaways or free food and music on certain nights. The Kansas City Chiefs use push notifications through their app to surprise and delight their customers with flash promotion deals. And then the Memphis Redbirds offer their fans a way to purchase tickets from their phone through an app. So those are direct competitors. And then I'm going to talk about our indirect competitors. So this stems from popular locations outside of the overall sports field. River City is home to many sports bars and casinos where our target market often goes to socialize, enjoy food and alcohol, and watch the various sports games mentioned above. These bars and casinos, even restaurants, are appealing to our target market because they not only offer great food and drink, but they have the ability to watch the game for free. Due to lost attendance because of overall convenience of watching sports via television, these fans are ones that we want to work extra hard at reaching on game day. And the main goal is just to make up for lost in-person attendance and make it up with social media engagement. So what's our plan exactly? In order to compete with everyone, we're going to implement a virtual tool that allows full fan experience. Of course, with COVID right now, not all capacities are opened up, so it's hard to really get that full fan experience, which is why this app is going to allow fans to not just watch the game, but to really feel like they're there in person and to get that full experience. We also want to make sure we're reaching out to our bar and restaurant goers and just make sure that, even though they're not in person, they are still engaging with us, whether that's on social media or an app, just any way to get their attention is going to benefit us and get our numbers up.
Okay, so this is the implementation and structure changes of the solution. So our solution mostly affect the game day and marketing staff, just because this staff department or these two staff departments have been the most affected with fans not being in the stadium. So their roles will be slightly tweaked, and they would move to a new virtual fan experience department. This virtual fan experience department would focus on making sure each fan's experience with our virtual fan experience is smooth and seamless. They would brainstorm new ideas on how to engage fans more with our virtual fan experience, and they would also bring those ideas to life utilizing the technology that our solution would have. So with these changes, this is going to help reduce the amount of layoffs with the Squirrels, and they'd only need to let go of employees who cannot adapt to the tech our solution would utilize. However, we are planning on offering training to the staff that would be affected to make sure they are prepared for the upcoming season. So overall, with these changes, this is going to help the Flying Squirrels keep the talent they already have without trying to find too much new talent, and it helps them keep their same staff together without just giving them nothing to do. So now we're going to go into more of what is the solution? So going into what our solution actually is, it's the Flying Squirrels virtual fan experience. And it's going to bring more than the game, but it brings the experience of going to the ballpark. So the main things that our solution is going to do for the River City Flying Squirrels is it's going to help bring back revenue lost from in-person ticket sales, reduce layoffs, and not just be a Band-Aid during COVID, but a new revenue stream for the River City Flying Squirrels for years to come. And again, this virtual fan experience is going to be integrated seamlessly within the Flying Squirrels app, which is available on all platforms, iOS, Android, and PC. So fans do not have to download any new software to take advantage of any of the new features that we're about to go into. So some features of our solution is going to be partnering with the MILB to bring exclusive camera angles and replayability to virtual fans. This is going to let fans who are enjoying our virtual fan experience watch the game exactly the way they want, regardless of their seat, as they would be confined to physically in the stadium. This is going to help fans because everybody likes to watch the game a different way, and I think just letting them customize that, and we think just letting them customize their experience is going to help them be engaged more because they're going to tailor it to their needs. We're going to partner with DoorDash to bring select menu items to fans free of delivery charge. Now, what is our select menu items? Well, that's going to include your ballpark classics like your peanuts, your Cracker Jacks, and your hot dogs. But let's say we have a Thirsty Thursday, which is a $2 beer promotional night that the River City Flying Squirrels have. If you're over 21 and within the mile radius of the stadium, DoorDash will deliver you that $2 beer that we offer on our Thirsty Thursdays. Now, like I said, within a mile radius, anybody can go to a virtual fan experience from across the world. However, only fans within a certain mile radius can take advantage of DoorDash because, again, DoorDash drivers aren't going to drive 3 hours to deliver you cold concession food. And determining what that exact mile radius is still in the talks with the River City Flying Squirrels. It would probably also be dependent on how many fans they let in the stadium as the years go on. Another aspect that we're really excited about is the virtual suites for friends and family. So how this is going to work is our virtual suites are almost like Zoom rooms. So a fan would go through our app, purchase their suite. Let's say it's a 25-person suite. So they send it out. The app's going to send them an email with a link to a web chat room. That fan can send out the link to as many people as they want, but only 25 people can click on it before it expires. Now, what actually is our virtual suite? Our virtual suite, again, is going to act like a Zoom room. It's going to have the game in the background, but you're going to be able to talk to your friends and family while the game is all synced up for you guys to watch and enjoy. This is going to help especially during COVID, because again, people can't get together and watch the games, and that's what people love to do, is to get together and watch the games together. So having these virtual suites will be a nice effect and a nice Band-Aid for that. Going past COVID, let's say friends and family move across the nation, maybe across the world. You can still have those people watch together. You can still have River City Flying Squirrels watch parties together through our virtual suites past COVID. The opportunity to be mailed promotional items like bobbleheads or balloons. Again, this is people love free merchandise. And these promotional nights where when you walk and you get free merch are sometimes the only reason why people go to games. So the opportunity to be mailed these will be enticing to some fans, as they will want to be included in the virtual fan experience. Now, again, this is up to the River City Squirrels because it's going to be while supplies last. Let's say there are no fans in attendance for this upcoming season. It will be dependent on what time you log on to see if you get mailed a promotional item, as you're gonna have to click claim my item before the supplies run out. Let's say they start allowing fans into the stadium. Well, to increase that revenue, they're gonna probably prioritize about 75% of that promotional items inventory to the in-person fans, with virtual fans still having the opportunity to win it, but at a lower percentage than if they just went to the stadium. We're going to stream special nights like our fireworks or movie night. Now, again, this is going to go into the question of what can I do before and after the game. It's minor league baseball. A lot of people go for the promotional nights. A lot of people go for more than just the game. And these are some of the ways where we're trying to bring that experience to the couch. Streaming fireworks night, streaming movie night, a short Q&A/picture section with speakers and special guests. And so how that Q&A section is going to work is depending on the popularity of the guest. Let's say it's a local athlete. They're pretty popular. Each virtual fan will have about 15 to 30 seconds to take a picture with them in their web chat, one-on-one web chat room, similar to a Zoom room. Talk with them for a little bit before they have to go. This is going to be similar to just standing in line, taking a picture with them in the ballpark. And it's going to really feel personalized to them because it's just you two in the chat room. So that's some things that fans can look forward to with our virtual fan experience. Now, we haven't gotten the price yet. And what our group decided was we are going to have basically one-to-one plans. So let's say you want a single ticket, just one ticket to a game, that's a physical. But there's also going to be a single ticket virtual plan. And our virtual plans will match every physical plan that the River City Squirrels have. So you can get a full season virtual ticket plan if you wanted to. Our prices would stay around the same, but with a 10 to 20% discount, depending on the package, because we know we're bringing more than the game, we're bringing the experience to you, but it will never match being in the ballpark. And obviously these prices are subject to change, depending on if the River City Squirrels can have fans within the coming season, COVID guidelines, and things like that. So to wrap up, our solution does three main things for the River City Flying Squirrels. It's going to help bring back that lost revenue that they lost with having no season last year. It's going to help reduce the amount of layoffs that they have to do, keeping more staff, but not just keeping them to pay them, but keeping them to run a new department, something that's going to be a solution. And the main thing that our group wants to emphasize is how this solution isn't just for COVID. This is something that is going to be a revenue stream for the River City Flying Squirrels for years to come. This is something that no other teams do, and that if the River City Flying Squirrels do it, they're going to dominate this untapped space of the virtual fan experience.
With the funding request, some of the major things we wanted to cover would be coming from our parent team and then also our sponsors. From the parent side, that would be the St. Louis Cardinals. As we know, the minor league season was cut short. We didn't actually get to play, so a lot of the money we expected to bring in is actually not there now. Recently, we have seen the MLB struck a deal with Turner Sports, also known as TNT, for about $3 billion in media rights and coverage. With that in mind, we were hoping some of that money can be passed on to the MLB teams, which then could be dropped to the minor league sections to cover a lot of the expenses that we now have to make up for. Also, through our sponsorships, we would hope to bring in an extra amount of revenue that we wouldn't have had from last year. As we spoke about DoorDash, that would be our delivery partner, hoping to strike a deal with them that could bring in some extra funds for our team. So with the funds, we would hope to use it in the first year to cover some of the grounds expenses, some of the things around the stadiums that we have lost out on, just electrical stuff, all the other aspects that make the stadium run. As we know, no one was in the stadium for this last year, so making sure it's run correctly, upheld, that would be our main goal. Next, the money would go into some new marketing strategies. As we've seen, a lot of people are now afraid to actually come to the stadiums. In a study done with SB Nation, 3 out of 4 Americans plan to stay home until there's a vaccine. So they won't plan on attending sporting events until a vaccine is created. With that in mind, we need to think of new ways to draw in fans, draw in new people, draw in our old fan base, our season ticket holders, and make sure that they're feel secure and welcomed and have a new enticing feeling to come to the games. With that, we would think of new safety additions. As we know, after this is all done, sports won't be the same as they used to be. So we hope to implement some new safety additions. Maybe it could be some barricades, some distance seating, new hand sanitizing stations, new signage, everything to just make the stadium safer and allow fans to feel safe and secure while watching the games as we continue to come back. Along with the extra money we would get, we would hope to make the development of the app a little more effective. We do have an app currently, but there's not much we have going on it right now. So we would hope to implement some of the sponsorship strategies that we talked about, making the DoorDash deal through our app. So if fans wanted to order food, they would go through our app, and then ultimately order through that and get the code from the app and DoorDash. And then just, keeping up to date with, team information, statistics, schedules, everything like that to make the fan experience as interactive as it can be. Just making sure that they feel they are as much as part of the team as the actual players are. And lastly, with that funding request, we would hope to go through some new stadium usage. As we've seen, like the Indianapolis Indians have done, they have converted Victory Field into a mini golf kind of setup, which was really unique and different. It was COVID friendly, it was safe, everyone was in their own little groups that they showed up in. And we hope to expand some of those new ideas into our stadium, making it more appealable outside of just baseball. As we know, a lot of people are looking for new stuff to do. COVID has kind of put everyone to their homes, and ultimately we need to just find new ways to increase fan attendance outside of baseball. So through our funding requests, those are the main issues we would need to attack. And lastly, we go into financial projections. We've broken this down into two different plans, Plan A and Plan B. Plan A is based around having a certain amount of percentage of fans in the first year. We obviously don't know what percentage that could be. As we've seen with football, we've seen it as high as 25%, which ultimately in a 20,000 stadium is actually 5,000, which isn't bad. It's a good number. Obviously, our stadiums aren't as big as theirs, so 25% is, it's still a good chunk of people. So through that, we would hope to just bring in a little bit of profit through ticket sales, through concession sales, everything like that in the first year, and then also have a new circulation of money from sponsors. Sponsors are the key here, making sure we can bring in new kinds of money. So with ticket sales being how we expect it to be, it'd be around the $2.5 million mark for the first year. And then $2.5 million, we would hope to then have, because our ultimate goal is 10 million. That's what we make, and that's kind of like our peak of what we have made so far in just ticket sales and revenue. So if we make 2.5 million in the first year through Plan A, we would hope to gather the rest of the 7.5 million rest through sponsorships and other different routes. Sponsorships would bring in a fairly good chunk. And our bare minimum goal that we'd want to reach is around 7.5 million. So just bringing in an extra 5 million from sponsorships would make this a lot easier for us, definitely. And then we go into lastly, let me just end. Our end goal for Plan A would be around 60 million after year 5. That's making it around 12 million a year. How we got to that number is obviously the first year is going to take a hit, but the second year and so on, we will have fans hopefully praying. I think we will fully in the stadiums. Everyone will be allowed. So if we can make our $9 to $10 million money in ticket sales while also having the sponsorship money still from our partnerships, we'd hope that on average we'd make around 12 to 15 a year from year 2 to year 5, which making the end goal around 60 million very realistic. Plan B now, on the other hand, is focused around no fans in year 1. This is looking a little more likely throughout the days, but obviously it's not for sure and it's not certain. So we would tackle a lot of sponsorship and marketing strategies for year 1. Obviously, we're going to miss out on that 10 million mark of ticket sales. So we're going to need to recoup a lot of that through different routes, sponsorship being one of them. So we were hoping to make around $4 to $5 million in sponsorship money a year. That could be useful. And then also finding new ways to use our stadium with our marketing strategies. That would make hopefully some money in the long run. We would obviously have to pay for a lot of things we put up, a lot of safety protocols that we need to be met. With that in mind, we would hope to make roughly after year 1 around $7 to $8 million. It's a stretch. Obviously, yes, our bare minimum would be 5, but we think with sponsorships and the different stadium usage and our new marketing strategies that we plan up, it's it's ideally realistic for us. And then at the end of year 5, we would hope to have around $45 million in the bank. That's going around a $10 million from year 2 to 5 a year. Having $10 million in the bank would be great, especially if we miss out a lot on year 1. So yeah, and would be around $45 million. Thank you.
Marketing and sales strategy. There's no doubt that COVID has impacted the sports industry in a variety of ways for the Flying Squirrels. Marketing and sales strategy, for example, will be slightly changing. The Flying Squirrels have different strategies that could be a big part of an advantage of keeping the revenue solid. For starters, we will narrow down fans who come the most, communicate to people who live closer to the city, find a trend of who came to games, families, college students, and retired, find a way to lower season ticket prices, but still enough to make profit, and market the new virtual fan experience in movie nights and the DoorDash. For starters, having people come back to the stadium after being closed for so long to watch movies was a big success. We will be promoting more nights of these in the future and market it even more to the community and outer community to expand the fan base of the Flying Squirrels. The marketing strategy will promote more of the virtual fan experience. The virtual fan experience will be marketed through social media, news channels, since MILB does not have TV contracts, and will also be promoted through the radio and billboards around the city. Virtual experiences have been a big impact on fans during the COVID crisis for all sports industries. They have shown to create a bigger fan base and attract more people that they never thought they would before. With that said, we will be using that data in the new sales strategy. We will narrow down new fans that will be interested in coming to the games. The Flying Squirrels will lower a little bit of their sale prices, but still enough to make revenue, but low enough to attract the guests to buy them. The season ticket staff will look closer after the 2021 season has ended and look for data, revenue, and impact from the virtual fan experience, movie night, and DoorDash to find people who be suited for the 2022 season tickets. With the potential of having the 2022 season in person, the new target market may want to experience the promotional nights, the new ticket prices, the live events, and family-friendly arena after attending the virtual events that we had during the 2021 season. When the 2022 season is live in person, we will be marketing the promotional nights, live events, and upcoming movie nights. We will still have the COVID protocols if necessary during that time to still keep everyone safe and to attract more guests because we're keeping it safe. With the past season not being in person, we believe that the numbers of attendees will grow during the promotional days with people who have done the virtual events. We will find that trend through the data. For the people who still do not feel safe about coming to the in-person events, we will mail the free stuff they would receive if they were in person. But we will not promote the virtual experiences as much because we still want these people to come in person to boost our revenue. We will still have some events going on through virtual, but not as much as we did before in the 2021 season. We will have those events off season. So during the fall, winter, and spring, when we do not have our regular 2022 season, we will have like some small events during the off season. For our sales team selling season tickets, they will be asking questions to callers if they have attended virtual events, movie nights, if they want to come to the games in person after attending the virtual events and our COVID events we had to offer, and discuss how and why we lowered our season ticket prices, and talk about how we recently updated and renovated our facility during COVID to attract more diverse audience and keep everyone who wants to attend healthy, and to attract more of a family atmosphere.
So as you've heard today, the River City Squirrels are not backing down. We're going to fight this. We're going to come back better than ever. Virtual fan experience. We're going to put these fans in this stadium virtually and give them everything that we can to make them feel like they are not missing any part of the action while they're at home. And as you heard, we are going to continue to offer this even after the COVID situation has rectified itself and we're back to full capacity. We are going to continue to offer the virtual fan experience for a long time to come, proving that it will be successful. We wanted to leave you with some upbeat energy as we end this presentation. So here is video of the River City Dancers. They came in to celebrate our opening day back in 2019 and performed in front of our fireworks show. We have booked them again for opening night 2021. We hope to see you there. If we can't see you there, we hope you'll be there virtually. Thank you for watching.
La fiesta no para apenas comienza. C'est comme ça, ma chérie, la 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 la. Francia, Colombia, Houston, Freeze. J Balvin, Willy William, Beyoncé, Freeze. Los DJ no mienten, le gusta a mi gente y eso se fue muy bien. No le bajamos, mas nunca paramos, es otro palo y piano. ¿Y dónde está mi gente? Me fue a bouger la tête. Azul, are you with me?